This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. If you've tried to move your life forward, you're mindful of it. You have some goals. You're not reaching them. Maybe relationships aren't exactly what you want them to be in all areas, professional, personal. There may be something holding you back known as barriers. What are they? How do we define them? We're going to talk about that today. She offers counseling, psychotherapy, also grief recovery, and has given so much insight. She's lived a lot. She's very transparent about things too, and it's so great to have her back with us. Fiona Mitten is back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. I've identified some of my barriers over, over the last couple of years, which I'm happy to say that I have. Um, when you do, it feels good. Like I call it connecting the dots. You know, why do I do this or why don't I do this? And what's preventing that from moving forward? And you can correlate it to a barrier. How would you define a barrier?
Well, barriers for me first started up because we're supposed to live in a, and I'm in a quotation this, not barrier-free world, right, for people with disabilities. Where able-bodied people do things without thinking. Um, I mean, I had an exact example last week. Talking at a school, speaking at school, and I was went to go to the washroom and I was in my wheelchair, and it was beautiful. The fob opened the door, or the fob unlocked the door, but it didn't open it, and they had no button. Brand new school, 2 years old, and they had no button to get in the disabled bathroom. And I went back, and it was the first thing I said to them. She said, "Yes, it does." I said, "No, it doesn't," because able-bodied people don't think about things that people that aren't able-bodied we catch like that fast. And so that's just a physical barrier. So that's one thing. And then when we talk about emotional well-being, we hold ourselves hostage, and those are the barriers that I talk about a lot. Um, we think that it's the world that holds us hostage, but really it's our own. We put up barriers in our thinking. We put barriers up on, like, you put a wall up. I just call it a barrier. Don't let somebody pass that because, oh my goodness, someone's going to hurt me, or if I become vulnerable, and let people in. People will with mental illness, they have barriers, whether it be doctors or friends or family. There are lots of people that judge them. Those are all barriers, and sometimes we just hold ourselves hostage with our own fear, which is another form of barrier.
Ooh, well, why don't we go there? Um, Fear is huge. We all have it. In some ways, it can be good. If we didn't have fear from the beginning of humans, we wouldn't be here. But it can hold us back. And what are some of the ways that fear can do that when you connect it to barriers?
Holy crap! Well, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a good example. So when we, as people, like, because we have to be vulnerable, and fear is a barrier. We will not let people in. And sometimes it's just silliness. So years and years and years ago, I'd have been probably 19. I had moved to the city, and I had got a job at this little, I was making just a little sub shop downtown. And all my girlfriends were going to go float down the river. It was a beautiful sunny day. And I had never called in sick a day in my life because I was raised with really strong ethics about good work, good work ethics, and be this person and stand up, be honest and truthful. So I lied to them. I phoned in, said I was sick, went floating down the river with my girlfriends, and I never went back to work there ever. Didn't even pick up my last check because I was so riddled with fear from my own guilt about lying and not do right. So I lost out on a pay, like, crazy thinking. I was so terrified that they were going to find out that I lied, or that I, whatever, called in sick when I wasn't sick, that I literally just walked away from everything, the job, the
Wow.
paycheck, because fear of judgment, fear of people's opinions of me, fear of, we all live with that, right? We all live with that. What are people thinking? And most people just don't care. In truth, most people don't care.
That's
So it
that's a
becomes
great point.
self-hostage. Yeah,
Yes, most people don't care, but we think they do.
right.
And then there's comparison. So you'll compare yourself to somebody, well, they got that and they got this and they got that. They're going to look at me like, I'm garbage or unworthy. They don't even care. But we have a fear that they may. And then it holds
Right.
us back.
Don't don't ever judge your outsides, your insides, by somebody else's outsides.
You know, More and more as I navigate life, and I don't take anything away from anybody, but when we look at, those that, like the big house and the two cars and they live on the hill and oh, look at that, the white fence and the cats and the dogs, a happy family, happy family. Very often it's an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking with somebody very recently, and they elevated their life, and they don't brag, but they look like, wow, they're doing all right, wow. And then they recently revealed that their relationship with their spouse is, and they work with their spouse. They built this together, and like I was like, I'm listening to them, have a sympathetic ear, but part of me is like, whoa, I didn't even think that. And it's not what we think is not typically the reality. So, and also I feel that comparison steals your joy. You don't know what they're going through, so you put these people on a pedestal, and that takes away from your joy. You may have a fraction of what they have, but if you're happy, God bless you. Fantastic. You hit it. You don't need all of what maybe somebody else has because they could be miserable. You don't know.
When you actually get to know people, the majority of people are riddled with fear,
Yeah,
riddled with barriers, like
truth.
emotional barriers. They shut themselves off. They don't want to talk to people. They're unwilling to open up. They're under the belief system that talk therapy works, and it all you do is talk. It's really nice to have to talk about stuff and have someone listen to you. The difference that is, however, that just talking, you need answers. You need to have action. I asked you the bird story last time, and and you were like, well, they're all gone. No, they're not, because they just make a decision. It didn't take any action, right? And that's the same with all of this stuff. If we don't actually do the work, if we don't do put like the rubber meets the road, somewhere the rubber is going to meet the road, and when that happens, we need to have people in our corner, and we need to feel vulnerable. We need to be open. We need to be free of fear. We need to be, I mean, we need to be willing to let someone in, right? Like I fought for a long, long time, just thinking I knew it all and I could be functional and do it all. And it was a lie until I was able to allow people actually into my inner sanctum, right? Like I was a very, because I always thought people would get sick of hearing what I had to say, right? Because it always was another thing. The reality is people love to, um, if you have real people in your life, they're really good people. And I don't know where it says it, but if you have two true people, then you're a millionaire, right? Like
Mm.
for real. Because there's a lot of people that live this world that don't have anybody in their corner, like for that just don't. Even if they're married, have kids, doesn't mean they're in their
True.
corner.
Yeah. What you're saying, uh, true ride or die,
Mm-hmm.
those kind of people where you can count on them no matter what. When you think about this is a hard reality, people. When you think about that, who are they? That's painful, when you think about that. Really, and well, my spouse, how do you know? You think, but being very honest, live that journey. You don't know. Tomorrow's a new day. Not that you should be fearful of like nobody's got my back, but when you start looking at that, what you just said is so amazing. Like you are a millionaire when you think you got two people. Not think, you have two
No.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like when
And
you know, if you know.
absolutely. And with that, I am truly a millionaire. It doesn't have to be about money,
Right.
but when I have people that are pure, true to my heart, my soul, in my life, everything about me, those I don't need money to be a millionaire. I just need people that are honest, truthful, and love me no matter what.
I came to that realization in the last couple of years and I remember the day I was in my garage and going through some life changes, and I was just staring out of the garage, and I see some trees to the left and the right. And I'm just staring, forward and just thinking
Mhm.
deep. And I thought, you know what? I can be anywhere. A little shack on the beach, cabin in the woods, whatever it is. As long as you're happy and you have peace, like real peace, what else do you need? And so many of us will be, I need money. I want to be a millionaire. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But do you need it or do you want it? That's the difference. Yeah, sure, we want it. Cool, bring it on. But do you need it? Many of us pretty much have what we need to survive and be okay. Be nice to have a little extra, whatever. But you look at millionaires, so many people won lotteries and things like that. Um, what do they say? I'm not happy. Like I think it's like 90%, close to.
Mhm.
Um, and you're hugging your dog there. I was laying in bed last night and I thought, you know what? I love my dog. He's the best. I got my arm around him. All right, buddy, we're going to sleep. And I'm like, all right, there we go. I woke up. He's right there. That's unconditional love. That's the real deal, right?
Yep.
Mm.
He has the anti-anxiety jacket on. He's feeling very stressed out lately.
Aw. Aren't we
Yeah.
all?
Yeah, right.
Right? Everything going on in the world. Um, when it comes to barriers, the mental barriers, what could some of those be? And even if we went hypothetical, maybe a reason or two why we might have them.
Self-preservation. Like that's plain and simple self-preservation. If we let our barriers down, people come in, people hurt us, right? Um, that's one, that's a major one. Um, for mental and emotional protection, self-preservation, uh,
Well,
like
what
it's
if it's
that's
a
always what, go ahead.
what about a barrier that's preventing us? That's protection, but one that's preventing us from um, achieving goals, whatever they might be, tied to our past. Or is
Good
it the same?
habits. No, well, habits, making good habits versus bad habits, right? Uh, takes 21 days to change a habit or to make a habit or to build a habit. If we don't put in effort, we will always have barriers. We will always leave people like, if I don't allow people into my life, because see, we grieve as deep as we've loved, right?
Hmm.
So when if we give ourselves to someone or something that we love, um, whether it be a career, family, friends, your men's group, for instance, if we give ourselves to that and allow ourselves to be true to that, uh, the moment that that's gone or something happens or someone leaves the men's group or someone loses their career or we've given everything we have to be there, and once something is taken away from us, we feel lost and broken, right? So people don't want to go past there. They don't want to allow themselves to get hurt, so they don't love unconditional. They don't give themselves openly.
Do you feel that when you've lost things, that yes, it's painful, challenging, but that's where some breakthroughs can happen?
Where growth comes from.
That's my point.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where growth
Why?
comes
Why does
from.
it have to be that way?
Because they're lessons. Nothing. If people are like, well, this is wrong. Well, no, because it's not. Like everything that we go through gets us to the next stage of where we're supposed to be. That's life, right? And if we're willing and open to look at that stuff,
Hmm.
then that's where the growth comes from, right? I just want to be 1% better than I was yesterday. And I'm going to be 1% better than tomorrow than I am today. That's all I ask of myself. And when I don't put big expectations on myself, then all of a sudden I don't let myself down, which means I'm not resentful. I'm not bitter at myself. I'm not angry. I'm not kicking the crap out of myself for not being enough, right? Um, and doing that, it's like, oh, well, that frees up a whole bunch of barriers in my head where I'm like, well, I can just be 1% better. That's not very much work. Like, right?
Well, you're making it clear that, like, the whole lesson thing.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with that. Like, why do we have to go through these lessons? Why? It's like, oh, why do I have to learn lessons to navigate life? But now I'm seeing it in a clearer way, where, let's say, somebody wants to drive, a teenager, right? Can't just get in the car and go. You have to learn lessons to drive. So when you put that in the throw of life, you need to learn certain things to get to the next level. If you don't learn those things, you can't get there and to the next and then to the next. Kind of never saw it that way. I saw it as a barrier.
Right? Exactly. I have a really great example. I was with a girl the other day and she's like 17, and she was going to go get her license in a couple of days. And she said, well, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to fail anyway. And I'm like, what? And she said, well, everybody says that nobody passes on the first time. And I said, well, I did. And she said, well, but everybody else says, well, it doesn't matter what everybody else says. If you tell yourself you're going to fail, you'll probably fail.
Oh
If you
yeah.
tell yourself you'll probably pass, you'll probably pass. So I said, don't listen to the naysayers. Just go out. She says, well, I did AMA, like driving school and stuff. And I said, then there's no reason you won't pass. She said, well, who cares what everybody says? Tell yourself that you're going to pass, and dollars to donuts, you're going to pass. So don't listen to the barriers other people put up for you, because that's what she was doing, right? Believe in yourself and believe in whatever you believe in, and it'll fall together. Like, don't tell yourself yucky stuff. Just tell yourself what the positive side of everything, and that's normally we feed, but we get what we feed grows, no matter whether it's barriers, fear, um, honesty. I mean, the list is endless of what we feed grows.
100%. And you say, tell yourself, you are telling yourself what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like parents always used to say, be careful what you ask for because you might get it. Well, if you say, I'm not going to pass, I'm not going to pass that. There's just no, I'm not going to pass that. Really, really good chance you're not going to pass it because you just dropped a seed in your subconscious, and your subconscious is saying, oh, no pass, no pass. Let me work on that. And your subconscious wants to make you happy, wants that it's there to protect you and make you happy. So what's it going to do? It's going to derail your efforts. So it's almost as if you go for the job interview, this big job, this is the one. Oh, I'm not going to get that job. There's no way. I can't do that. I got to go to the interview tomorrow. You plant that seed, you're probably going to fumble during the interview and maybe not get the job, as opposed to, I'm going for it, man. I'm going to get that job. I got it. I got this. I studied. I know what to say. I know my craft. I'm going to work on it. Now you're setting yourself up for success. And I know it sounds cheesy to some. A lot of it proven by psychologists, psychiatrists. Your subconscious is listening always,
All the time.
not even to your voice, to your mind when you say things. It's listening. Pretty scary.
I named her Not Enough Nancy. mean, I've named that nemesis that just tells me I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not pretty enough, all that crap in my head. Those are my mental barriers. I've named her and I kick her out all the time
Mm,
for real reasons because I know that she doesn't know what she's talking about.
yep. Same thing. And I find myself more and more, even with that, or even other situations that come up that, I want to react.
Mhm.
Where it's like, I sent a text, I'm mad. I find myself now being more mindful of all of this, that when that moment comes up, yeah, I'm going to send a text. I'm like, no, might take like, and it's gone at like it's interesting, like a progression where it would be like 10 seconds. I'd be thinking about it, now it's like I think of it and in like a second and a half, what's it going to do? It's going to do nothing. So why even waste the energy on it? So I put I guess that's a good barrier. Put the barrier up there and don't do it. But same thing, that monkey chatter in your brain that's talking to you, telling you you're not good and all of that. Uh, right away, filter it out.
Well, it's the same as what we were talking about the other day or last couple weeks ago, I guess, on forgiveness. Like, who is forgiveness actually for? You or the other person? Well, it's for you. Forgiveness is never about the other people.
Right.
Forgiveness is about self. So you're not drinking poison trying to kill them. Like the people, if someone's harmed you and they're already dead and you're still resenting them for hurting you, they're not even alive anymore. So who's paying the price for that? You are as a person. You're the one paying the consequences for somebody who is long dead,
Completely.
right?
And the same thing applies to sending a text or telling somebody off. They don't care.
Don't care.
You're actually making yourself look dumb by doing it. You think I'm gonna push their button. It doesn't matter. What's I look at it this way. I say, what's the win? Where's the win in that? Where's the benefit? What's going on there? There isn't one. Well, I'll feel
Would you rather?
better.
Yep. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy?
Right. Oh, that's a good one. That's a
And
good one.
my mom used to say, if you argue with a fool, who's really the fool?
She was very wise.
Yeah, she was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are things I haven't heard in a long time, but they ring true. They resonate.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
If you
And
argue with a
it's
fool, who's the fool?
who's the fool?
I want to share this real quick. Final thing here. Just
Sure.
I read this recently. 5 words to say to somebody that says something nasty to you, and you take it, and it's like, ow, the 5 words. Did you really mean that? You put it back on them. That somebody says something to you. You really mean that? And when they said right away, they're going to get defensive because now you're in their face. Yes, I did. How come? Tell me. It's just it reframes the situation.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what people need to do because, and that's what I get to do. I think this is the best part of my day when I work with people is that I get to show them that you can't reframe a picture if you're in the picture, right? You need to remove yourself from
Mm.
the picture to be able to reframe it.
Point. What did you say before? We grieve and love. What was that?
We grieve as deeply as we love. So that's why people die of heartbreak. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like my grandparents were married for 67 years, and my grandpa passed away of cancer, and my grandma wasn't even sick, and she was gone within 30 days. Died of heartbreak.
Look at the movie The Notebook, right?
Right?
Yeah. And
Absolutely right.
that I truly believe that's what makes you unique in that you can offer therapy, counseling, but there's another side of you that is very effective with the grief recovery method. And it's my belief after a journey and figuring this stuff out, we're all grieving. We all are grieving from something. You may not think it, but I bet you are. I bet you are.
100% of people, because the first trauma that we go through as a human being is the day we're born,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't even know that because it's our subconscious that knows that because we don't remember the day we're born. But when you're floating around and you're in your mom's womb and you're read to and sang to and patted and
Life is
loved and
great, fantastic.
awesome,
Yeah, yeah.
big white world, flap.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cold. It's like, where am I? Can't
Trauma.
see. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That fast.
Fiona, what's your website? How do we find you?
www.fffreedom.online, and my email is info@fffreedom.online.
Beautiful. Thank you for today. Let's overcome the barriers. Yeah, appreciate it, and we'll catch up soon. Okay.
You bet. Talk soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.